I am really excited to have this webinar with Pearl today. I've been working together with Pearl on my own e-commerce business with shipping for a very, very long time. I would say about 5 years, maybe 6 years. She saved me a ton of money, but also she is a pearl, no pun intended, of wisdom in the e-commerce space. And so I thought that we can have her first ever webinar together with Skubana today, which is very exciting.
Thank you.
And so she's actually come to the Skubana office to have this webinar. We're really excited, and she's really nervous, but also extremely excited. And we're going to have a lot of fun today, but most importantly, we're going to help you make more money.
Absolutely.
So because we had a little bit of a late start, it's already late, I think we're going to get right into it. Typically, I would say we're just going to have a facilitation. If you have questions, you can put them into the chat box on the right. I'm sure a lot of people are going to have a lot of questions. We're going into a lot of depth today. Pearl's been in the well, I'll let Pearl, you know what, we're going to let you go through your background.
Sure.
So let's start there.
Okay, thank you. So let me introduce myself again. My name is Pearl Ausch. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing at First Choice Shipping. And so far, me and my team have helped thousands of Amazon sellers expand their businesses internationally. Some of that marketplaces that I'm referring to is Amazon UK, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Japan, Australia, and we keep adding on more as Amazon is growing along with us. But most importantly, a wife and a mother of 2 adorable children, and I included some pictures here so you guys could see that. And really excited to be here, and let's jump right into it.
Cool. So for those that don't know me, Chad Rubin, co-founder of Skubana and CEO. I'm a first generation Amazon seller. I started doing this in 2007, believe it or not. I also wrote a book called Cheaper, Easier, Direct, which of course you can find on Amazon. There is my lovely cat wearing a bow tie. Yes, that's a purple bow tie. And that's a photo of me and my wife in India with a group of people that we were hanging out with. So let's move right into it. Look, the thing is that with Pearl, like yesterday I got a call on the phone and someone said, hey, Chad, can I change the cost of my product to see if I can get a lower VAT or to get lower tax rate? And I couldn't answer that question, but I know exactly who to call when I have that question or concern, or who to guide people to. And that's really why I wanted to bring Pearl onto the webinar today.
Yeah, shout out to Anthony.
So without saying his last name, right?
Yeah.
So what you'll learn today, we're going to talk about just a little bit about fears of international selling. We're going to talk about some VAT misconceptions you need to know to save you a lot of money and a lot of time. And we're going to talk about some mistakes that you want to avoid when you're shipping internationally to Amazon FBA. Now, people that I bring on to do webinars with, I like to break bread of who I do business with. And so I actually do business with First Choice Shipping with my own Amazon account when I'm actually shipping to Amazon or when I'm bringing samples in from international into the United States. And I save a ton of money. We're going to talk about all that today. So what's preventing people from expanding Amazon internationally today? Pearl, why don't you take this?
Sure. So, there's many different reasons why sellers are not even going to get started, or even when they start, they're going to give up really fast. So either it could be they get a shipping quote and the shipping is absolutely outrageous, and they make a calculation and they see right away, okay, this is not going to work for me. You're just going to be losing money from the shipping. Some of them will get really scared on the whole VAT thing. They think it's a whole big deal, and once they look at the paperwork, they see like, okay, there's pages and pages. Where do I start? Let me not bother. Let me not start with that even. Sometimes the language barrier will scare you. So these are some of the things we're going to cover now, and I really want to just take all those fears and squash them today, and give you guys a reason to want to actually do this, and realize how simple it actually is when you just break it down to a few easy steps and take your business internationally.
And I want to say that those that succeed, especially in the e-commerce world, are doing things that others aren't doing.
Exactly.
And a lot of people right now are either stuck in the United States. Perhaps they think the US is the only country that exists in the world. Surprise, surprise, we're not. There's actually more than just selling in the United States. And so a lot of competition doesn't go abroad or internationally because there are all these fears that we're showing you on the page today.
Yeah.
But in fact, it's a lot less competitive. Right now, there's, 2 million sellers on Amazon US right now.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that aren't going international or are scared to do it. And we're going to alleviate that today.
Absolutely.
Saul wrote in no video and sound, but I think we've already covered that. I think everyone can see us. So we're going to keep moving.
Perfect. Okay. So just to jump on to the point that Chad just mentioned, just to give you a number of what you could be looking at. Let's say if you're expanding to just the EU, you're looking at an additional 52 million people that are shopping online, especially at Amazon, and you're going to be opening yourself up to so many new buyers. So just to give you a number of what you're looking at in terms of sales.
Well, let's talk about VAT, because a lot of people get scared about VAT.
Yeah, let's go right into it.
Because that's a big scare for me, was like, how do I do the VAT? What do I do? What the hell is VAT? Can you just share what you're seeing, like literally off the cuff? You know this stuff.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's just break it down from the very beginning. So what is a VAT number, right? So a VAT number is like a tax ID number in the US. The way the UK government could keep track of whatever taxes you paid them, whatever taxes you owe them. So they have a good calculation of what's going on. So that's what VAT is, right? Just to give you guys an idea, it actually stands for value added tax. So you know what that means. So when do you actually need to pay that? When does that happen?
Okay.
When? So there's actually going to be 2 times that you're going to have to pay VAT, but let's not get scared that there's going to be twice. Let me explain to you exactly how that actually works. So the first time you're actually paying VAT is when you're shipping your goods into the forwarding countries. So you're going to be paying import VAT, right? So I'm shipping out a shipment going to Amazon FBA, and I need to pay taxes at the border off the value.
And do I need to have a VAT number already, or?
Absolutely. So before you could actually start selling, you need to have a VAT number to legally be able to start selling on Amazon. Amazon actually will require you to have the VAT number before.
And by the way, later at the end of this presentation, you're giving out a free VAT number, correct?
Oh yes, stay till the very end, so we could give you that's a huge incentive. So when you're shipping in, you're going to be paying import taxes. So what is the tax amount that you're usually paying? Across the board, when you're shipping to the UK, for example, it's 20%. If you're shipping, let's say, to Canada, you're looking at between 5 and 13%.
And it's 20% of the cost of the goods you're sending, correct?
Great question. Yeah. So a lot of sellers, this is like the biggest question I get when they're actually creating their first shipments. What is the value that I'm putting in? Some sellers by mistake will put in the full value of what they're actually selling the goods for, which you don't need to do that because you're actually sending it to Amazon first, and they're going to be selling your goods. So you're going to put in your cost, and that's what the amount of taxes are going to be coming.
And that call that we got yesterday, can you lower your cost of what you're to pay less on the VAT? Like, what are you seeing? Give us like the real deal.
So that's a good question. So if you have your own branded product, it's really up to you what the cost will be. Obviously, from a legal perspective, I can't tell you what to write on your invoices, but just use your head and make sure it makes sense. As long as it makes sense, you'll be fine as far as taxes go. So that's the first step of paying taxes, right? Step 2: when are you going to pay the other taxes that I was referring to? So what I was referring to by paying twice is you're going to be paid your sales taxes, right? After every quarter you're doing sales, you owe the UK government, also known as the HMRC, you owe them money off your sales. Now, they're really nice about this whole thing of actually paying twice. So what they do is they actually give you a credit towards your sales tax from whatever you paid them when it came into the country. So let's say today I'm shipping out something, I paid $20. on taxes. And it comes the end of the quarter, I owe them $100. They're actually just going to give me a bill for $80. So essentially, you're laying out that money when you're shipping your goods in, but you're going to get that back when you're actually going to file your taxes. So just a tip to put in here, you sometimes might have that your accountant or whoever's doing your filing will ask you to get from your shipper a form called a C-79 form.
Okay.
That form will clearly prove that you paid the HMRC those taxes, and that's how they could claim it back at the end of the quarter.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to cover on VAT? So it says here on the slides, identical to the U.S., right? It's kind of, is the VAT, so someone wrote in the comments, the VAT is not a tax ID, but you do need VAT to actually file taxes with the HMRC, correct?
Exactly. You cannot. You're not a legally registered company in the EU if you're not going to have a VAT number.
Okay. So what do you pay? We covered that. 2 VAT scheme options.
Yes. Let's cover that because some people are thinking 20%. Wow, that's a big number. So there's 2 VAT schemes actually. There's one, the 20%. You're paying 20% when it comes into the country. You get that reimbursed when you're paying your sales tax. Sales tax will be 20% as well. There's another plan that they actually allow you to start with, which is great for beginners or very sellers that do like very high margin products. So that VAT scheme is pretty much the rate is 6.5% for the first year, and for the second year it's 7.5%.
Okay.
The catch to that is that if you exceed over $230,000 in sales, you fall off that plan and you go right on to the one that's 20%. So you have to make sure you're not exceeding more than $230,000 within that year.
So if it's a high selling product, you want to do that second scheme you're referring to.
Yeah, you want to do that at least when you're starting at least might as well take advantage of it. After 2 years, you're automatically thrown off that and you go on to 20%.
And what about this? You don't have to do that if you're under a certain dollar value, right?
So that's bogus. Actually, people think that's a true thing.
Okay.
The only way you could actually take advantage of that is if you're a UK entity, if you're a UK registered company. So you could do that. You could have somebody like Avask Accounting, which is a partner of ours that could help you register your company as a UK entity, and then you can take advantage of that. And you wouldn't have to get, you wouldn't have to pay any VAT up to around $80,000.
Interesting. All right, so there's options for everybody that's listening today.
Yeah.
Someone said, where can you get a C-79 form?
So if you're using, let's say, DHL, which is one of the carriers we work with, you would be able to get that C-79 form along with your bill, as well as every major carrier will have a C-79 form. That's something that you should easily get.
Cool. All right. Anything else here we need to, only that needed where goods are stored, trick, use, EFN. Let's talk about that.
Sure. Okay, so if you're doing the EU, which marketplace should you start with? Should we start with all marketplaces like France, Germany, Italy, Spain? Should we do that? Yes, you absolutely should. And I'll teach you how you can easily do that. But what I will tell you not to do is do not get a VAT number in each of those countries. You don't need to do that.
Okay.
Why don't you need to do that? So Amazon has a great program. It's called the EFN, which is the European Fulfillment Network, which basically means that you could just ship into one country, like the UK, for example, and then anybody that's purchasing from, let's say, Germany or Italy, Amazon will take the inventory you have in the UK and they'll ship it to the customer in that forwarding country for a small fee. And the great thing about that is you legally only need to get a VAT number wherever your product is stored. So if you're only storing in one of those countries, you only need a VAT number there. So,
and is that the unified account? Is that the same thing?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
So it's not the pan-EU option. Don't mix that up with the pan-EU option. The pan-EU option would actually need to get a VAT number in each of those countries, because what Amazon is doing is they're taking inventory from the UK and they're distributing it throughout the EU. So it's pretty much like you're storing product in all those places. You're actually legally required to have.
So how do you get this Amazon EFN?
That's it. It's easy. You just go on to Seller Central. You just ship it to one place. Do not activate the pan-EU option, but activate all your accounts like Spain, Italy, Germany, France, and automatically anybody from those countries will be able to order.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's
cool.
great. It's a great program they have.
Someone just asked again, what is the C79 form? You mind just telling them one more time?
Sure. So the C79 form is a form that you're going to have that will clearly state that this and this VAT number paid the taxes when they shipped it into the UK, for example. So you're able to prove that you paid it, and like that, you're going to be able to get it reimbursed when you're actually doing your sales taxes.
Cool. All right. Anything else you want to cover on this topic or the questions that came in? Take a look to see if there's anything we didn't cover.
Sure. Let's see the questions.
So does VAT cover all Eurozone, including the UK? You said that you can use one VAT number, say filing in Italy, to cover the rest of the zones, correct?
You just need one if you're storing it in one place.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, one country. So just start off with the UK. And a good tip is, if you're looking through your orders and after like a couple months you see a lot of orders are coming from Germany, for example. Obviously, there's a big demand in Germany for the product that you're selling. So I would recommend taking a step further and actually shipping product into Amazon Germany, because Amazon is going to optimize your listings better because it's closer to wherever they're shipping it to.
Yep.
So it might be worth it for you to invest in another VAT number for Germany, and ship your product directly there. So that might, just monitor where your orders are coming from. It's a very strong product. So it might be something that you would rather just start with Spain and not with the UK. And if your product is in Spain, Amazon the same way will be able to distribute it to any customer anywhere.
I'm wondering if you can use like Google Trends and see, and if you put in like the Google Trends, like the word toy, and translate that word to see what the search volume is, to actually decide, help that make a decision. Because a lot of people don't know, like I know that vacuums are really, really prominent in the United Kingdom.
Right.
But like if you look at other European countries, they just use water and a mop.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true. That's true. But you have to be careful because they have different words for different things. Like for example, a gift basket, they call it a hamper.
Yeah.
So you have to research.
Vacuum, they call it a Hoover.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you have to really research to see what they use in those countries, and don't mix anything up, because you might be shipping something and that's really selling well for other buyers, other sellers, and all of a sudden yours is not moving. Just look to see what keywords everybody's using, and you'll figure that out, fairly fast.
A few other questions, and Pearl will be available. She'll give all her contact details at the end of this webinar. A few others to just cover. Again, this is not just about VAT. We're about to show you some serious mistakes you can make in the process of shipping to Amazon.
Absolutely.
So someone said 2 VAT schemes. Can you clarify? Can you just clarify those 2 VAT schemes again? Like, how do you find the VAT schemes? How do you pick them? Who do you go with to figure that out?
So I highly recommend using Basket Accounting, which is a partner of ours, to get the the real good insight on what these 2 are all about. Obligation free. You can call them up, ask them whatever you need. Okay. Amazon recommends their services as well as ours, so they're top notch.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does Amazon collect VAT upon the sale?
Yes, they do. It's already included in the price, so make sure you're marking up your product. It's different than in the US, so make sure you're marking it up, whatever your cost is, because you don't want to lose money.
All right, now for some fun stuff. So
yeah.
Pearl and I were working on this webinar together. We were coming up with the content, and I was like, just give me the stuff that's going to blow people away, where they're just like going to be shocked when they see it. And we put together, whoa, okay, there's a different way I can do my business. And most people don't know these tactics.
Absolutely. Okay, so some of these mistakes that I'm going to be mentioning are literally from the top mistakes that sellers will make when they're starting.
And how many hundreds of sellers are you talking to about these things?
So we're actually the #1 recommended provider from Amazon when it comes to international selling.
I didn't know that.
So Amazon has a very big team over in Seattle that focuses on recruiting sellers to expand their businesses internationally. So they recruit sellers that are obviously doing, nice sales in the U.S. and they feel they should go ahead and expand. So when they're doing that, they actually recommend using first choice shipping to set them up.
So you have a lot of experience on this.
Yes, I would say so.
All right, so talk to me about this mistake #1.
Okay, so when you're shipping out your shipment, there's going to be obviously some documentation that you're going to include along with your shipment. So the most common document you're going to use and ship along with your shipment is something called a commercial invoice. What is a commercial invoice? It's pretty much just a document stating exactly what you're shipping, the description of goods, and the value. And again, like we spoke earlier, make sure it's the cost. It is not your retail amount. You don't want to lose money over here. So part of the invoice, you're going to have to include something called an Incoterm.
But when you say invoice, it's coming from where to where?
So wherever you're shipping from. Whenever you're shipping internationally, you need to include a commercial invoice, which will clearly state what you're shipping so customs knows what to charge.
Got it.
So on the commercial invoice, you're going to have to include the Incoterm of what the payment will be as far as taxes and the shipping costs go. So there's two terms that I'm going to familiarize you with, so you know what not to do and what yes to do. So there's one term called DDU, which pretty much means duties and taxes are unpaid. So usually when you're shipping internationally, you would use this term because the receiver generally will pay for the taxes. But you must make sure when you're shipping to Amazon, you're using the term DDP, which means that everything is paid for in advance and everything is being billed to the shipper. So when you're shipping to Amazon, if it arrives to them and they see something is not paid for, what they're going to do is they're literally going to just refuse your shipment and ship it right back to you because they don't want to take responsibility for anything. And unfortunately, because it already passed the border, you're going to get billed for the shipment. So before even starting, you're already in a deficit. So make sure to include the term DDP, which means everything is paid for. So it arrives to Amazon and it's fully paid up.
Awesome. All right, let's move on to number 2.
Okay, so this is a big one. Importer of record. What is the importer of record? What does it mean? Importer of record means the person that's responsible for the security of the shipment, pretty much the person that makes sure the shipment is shipped legally, nothing dangerous is being shipped, and from pickup to delivery, it's fully according to the law. Now, normally the importer of record will be the receiver because it needs to be an address in the forwarding country that will be listed by the importer of record section. Again, Amazon does not want to be the importer of record, right? They don't want to be responsible for anything in relation to international shipping, and this is why they're not providing international shipping. So what you need to do is you need to make sure you have a physical location in the forwarding country that will act as the importer of record. So in our case, what we do is we have warehouse facilities set up throughout wherever it is that you're shipping to, let's say the UK or Canada.
But an FBA location?
No, we just have warehouse locations.
I'm saying if you're shipping to an FBA location, do you have to put that warehouse location? Or
yes, you must have another physical address that will be stated as the importer of record and not Amazon because they're going to refuse that way. So so we have just warehouse facilities that will act as the importer of record and allow Amazon to receive it without any issues.
That's a biggie.
Yeah,
Amazon doesn't want to take any liability when it comes to receiving your product because essentially they take on product liability at that point.
Exactly. And anything goes wrong, the government will come after them, and they don't want to be obviously liable for anything, you know.
All right, mistake number 3.
Okay, another big one. So let's go back to the commercial invoice that we spoke about a couple minutes ago. The commercial invoice is where you're actually writing what you're shipping and the value. When you're actually writing the description of goods, there is an option of writing down an HS code. What is an HS code? Some people call it a tariff code, a harmonized code. It's pretty much a number that equals the item that you're shipping. Why is this so important? So let's say I'm actually shipping today children's clothing. And children's clothing, actually, when you're shipping it to the UK, is exempt of that. It just has duties. Duties is like an additional tax that some products do have, some don't. But if I'm just going to write clothing and I'm not going to include an HS code, customs is pretty much going to look up the most expensive code they can find on file and that's what they're going to charge.
Why would they
for.
do such a thing?
They want to make money, obviously.
Yeah.
You know? So what you have to do is make sure you're looking up the HS code that will equal children's clothing. So like that, when it passes through customs, you're going to get the best rate available, and you're not going to lose. And like in this case, you lose like 20% from the cost. So it's just.
Are there any
crazy.
other interesting examples that are just crazy like that?
Watches, there could be like the more expensive watches. There's like the cheap watches, like plastic watches. So make sure you're not writing just watches, right? If you're shipping like cheap plastic watches, make sure that you're looking up that code so you're not going to be paying your pants.
Right.
Yeah, something like that.
Now you guys have this system that can look up HTS codes, right?
Yes, exactly. So part of this is a little bit of a screenshot of our shipping portal that allows you to create shipments going internationally. So we have a very simple way of you just literally typing in what you're shipping, and it's going to spit out the HS code automatically.
So yeah, when we first started using First Choice Shipping, we were using a different shipping company to do a lot of our air shipments, either come from China or to FBA. And I didn't believe that I can get such better rates. And then I started using this portal, putting in all the information, made life a lot easier, because now, and I think we'll show this later, the portal spits out the best rate after doing some rate shopping.
Yeah, our rates are going to be like 60 to 80% off.
So, but
rates, yeah.
While we're on the HTS code here,
sure.
Where does that go exactly on this portal?
Okay, so right over here, this is actually the duty and tax calculator. So if you want to get like a good number of an estimate of what your taxes would cost you, right? When you're actually going to our create label page and you're creating your shipment, part of that is pulling out just your information of what you want to be stated on the commercial invoice. So we have like an extra field that you would just type in what you're shipping, and right over there it's going to spit out for you the HS code.
Awesome. So Allison, you're going to see how you find it. You can also, I think you can probably Google HS code. Is it HS or HTS?
It's HS,
harmonized tax,
HTS.
Right?
Yeah,
okay. I was like, okay, am I wrong?
Else.
Yeah, so I call it harmonized tax code.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is not planning returns.
Yeah. So this is the number one question I have from sellers that are looking to get started. What happens with my returns? So again, Amazon is not providing international shipping. So if you have a removal order, what happens? You obviously don't want to get, you don't want to dispose your product. You want to be able to get it back to yourself or do something with it. So make sure that whoever you're using for your shipping has a warehouse location set up in that country that you could ship the goods to, and like that they could help you sort it out, either relabel it, ship it back to Amazon, or perhaps just consolidate it and ship it back to the States, because Amazon, they're going to ship it back in many, many boxes. You don't want to ship it back in those many boxes. You want to be able to consolidate it and then ship it back to.
So do you know warehouses internationally that you can do the consolidation?
Yes, we do that. We do that. We have a warehouse location in any place in Amazon actually has FBA locations.
So the FBA international locations, when you do a removal order, not destroying it, you remove it back to that one consolidated location.
Yep.
And why wouldn't you remove it back to the US location?
So that you could do that. You could ship it back to the US.
Right. Is it just more expensive, or?
Sometimes the product is literally brand new, so we could just re-sticker it and then ship it back into Amazon.
Ah, I see.
So we do that for a lot of sellers, and that saves you time and money.
Cool. All right. This is a little shout out here to Skubana. So while we're talking about like shipping to Amazon, we have actually FBA workflow that allows you to do all your inbound shipping to Amazon's facility. Now the difference is that most sellers are actually doing it based on velocity. And so in Skubana, we have every criteria you need to do all the FBA. You never have to go into Seller Central again, right? You can do all the FBA workflow shipments inside Skubana, and you can do it based on profitability versus velocity. And you can add the shipments, and we do all the labels going to Amazon FBA directly from here. But here's the difference, is that profit that I showed you on the previous screen right here is based on your profit from all the different fees historically. So we have every single fee that Amazon takes. Because Amazon really shows you what you make, but they don't show you what you keep. So you have your commission fee, your FBA fee, you have the refund fee, you have your storage fee, including your PPC fees. So this is a completely different way to look at your business. Now you can start sending to Amazon based on what's going to have the highest impact on your bottom line. The last thing I wanted to mention here was really the labeling. So a lot of sellers do FBA workflow labels using this Avery label. It's 30 on a page, 3 columns, 10 rows. And inside Skubana, we've developed a different methodology, which is essentially throwing those labels into a label gun. Now, if you're interested in knowing more about this, I'll give you my details at the end of this webinar. But essentially, you can do all your label printing without using your own inkjet printer or laserjet printer, which means no ink. You put it on a thermal printer. They print just like this, and you essentially throw them into a label gun, and that increases your FBA workflow efficiency by 70%. So you can either do this if you have your own in-house warehouse, or you can give your 3PL this kind of technology to do this in their own warehouse, right? Or to your suppliers. It'll increase the efficiency of doing FBA shipments 70%. Really, really, really cool. I just wanted to share that. It's a little nugget that we've developed inside the software. Let's keep going. That was a little bonus.
Thank you, Chad.
Yeah.
You can always gain from your golden nuggets, as you call it.
For sure.
Cool. Okay, so another big question I get is, should I ship in a full container or should I go by air? So just to put it out there, we do both. We ship from China by ocean. We do it by air. But if you're starting out, and even if you're not starting out, some of our biggest sellers that are from the top 100 sellers on Amazon are doing it by air. Why? So if you're doing it by air, firstly, you don't have to ship so much at a time, and you don't get all those crazy storage fees at Amazon. So you're able to just ship it in. With our service, it's there in 2 days. If you're running out, you can replenish really, really fast. So it's really not necessary to ship in that big amount. I would recommend definitely don't ship those very, very big items. When you're sourcing what you should sell, I would recommend sending in the smallest amounts possible. The smallest items possible. So for example, phone cases, electronics.
Because the cost per pound or the cost per item per piece is a lot smaller.
Exactly. So let's say somebody that's selling phone cases, he's able to fit in 150, 200 pieces in a box, right? And if you break it down to cost, it's only costing him around 30 cents a piece to ship by ear. And for every dollar that you're earning in the UK, you're getting back around, like today, I think it's around $1.35, the currency exchange.
Yep.
You're making back already 35 cents on every dollar because of the difference in the currency.
Yep.
So you're already making back on your shipping, because of the currency exchange. So I definitely recommend trying to get stuff that are much smaller, and that will help you be the most successful possible. But
if you're selling bigger stuff, I think it makes more sense. Like if you're selling like lumbar back supporters that are like 10 in a box.
Yeah. Then I would tell you, let's look into the ocean option. It's a little bit longer, obviously.
Yeah.
But we could look into it. Obviously, you want to make sure you're working on a good margin. But if you're looking to be fast, looking to check in at good timings and not running out of stock, by air is the way to go. And like I said, some of our biggest sellers are doing it that way. And
cool.
I want all of you to be from the biggest sellers. That's the goal, right?
Yeah. And just while we're on the screen, is this the screen that you actually put in your HTS code?
Yeah. So if you look down on the commercial invoice section, I'm not so sure how clear it is over here.
Did we cut it off?
No, it's here actually. By commercial invoice, there's one.
Enter item. I see chocolate.
Yep, that's it. And the next one is harmonized code. And do you see that little lookup?
Yep, right there. Boom.
Yeah, that's
Got it. Cool. And so we use this when we're bringing samples from Asia, sending items to FBA or internationally. We'll use this portal. We'll log in. We'll do all of our shipments. It's saving us a boatload, pun intended, of money.
That's it.
All right, number 5.
Okay, so this is just the reason why you shouldn't be doing it by ocean. If you're shipping very small amounts, small products, it's taking very long. You're consuming the storage costs at FBA.
And do you know is the storage cost? I know obviously August it's going up to 50 cents a unit for long-term storage fees.
Yeah.
In the US, is that international too?
So they keep going up. They went up recently also a lot. I saw a lot of people complaining. So these are some of the reasons why I would recommend shipping in smaller amounts at a time, and you're going to be more profitable that way in the long run.
Cool. All right. So what do we got here? How First Choice can help in the process.
Yep. So some of the things we spoke about, we're going to provide the importer of record for you, wherever that may be, Amazon, UK, Australia, Japan, Canada.
But the most important thing is that Pearl is available as a resource. Like, she is a wealth, and if she doesn't know the information, she will go and find that information for you. And so I see a lot of questions coming in. We're going to save that to the, what I call the lightning Q&A round coming up, where we'll answer some of these questions, and people should just start putting in any additional questions into the chat box as we proceed here. So if you want to know more information, how do people find you?
Okay, so that's my email. That's my direct email. Feel free to email me anytime. As always, I'm more than happy to help out anybody, obligation free.
And what are you giving? So we mentioned
what we're
the
giving now. So the bonus, this is a tremendous bonus that we're offering for people coming through Skubana. That's free VAT registration. It's valued at $500. This is what you're going to be paying if you're going directly to any of these accounting firms. So this is a tremendous value. Take advantage of it. We'll get you the VAT number set up. Once you have the VAT number, we can even actually get you a Seller Central account from Amazon, because we work with a team very closely. So we could get you that as well. And you could be set up in literally 2 weeks. You could be in Amazon UK. Or,
nice.
Or that, whichever market.
And the other thing I'm doing for those that are on the call is that if you email me directly, Chad Skubana, saying I'm ready, no apostrophe, I'm ready.
Love it.
You're gonna get 15% off your account for the lifetime of Skubana. So it expires in 24 hours for those that are gonna be listening to the replay. It's an amazing offer. I actually don't usually give offers like that, but I thought, well, why not?
Thank you.
And then let's move right into the Q&A. So if we go to the chat here, how long does it take by ship, someone wrote?
So it varies, from where it's going. If you could just email me exactly which port you're going to be shipping out from, I could absolutely look that out for you and give you a good timeline.
Why would you not ship to a 3PL as opposed directly to Amazon FBA so that they can stock the Amazon FBA as needed?
You could do that. That's a great idea. But if you're doing it by ear, like what I said earlier, you only have to ship like 3-4 boxes at a time. And if you're doing 3-4 boxes at a time, you're shipping
just in time.
That's it. You're good. You don't need to store it at anybody's place. And why should you pay somebody extra?
Ezzy wrote, how much is the return to have you guys send it back to us?
The return, we do not charge for that. It's just for the shipping costs. If you want us to consolidate it, we just have an hourly labor fee, which is like around $30 an hour. So it's really, really cheap, and that's all.
So Noel writes, would you recommend shipping a container of product directly to FBA? Should it not go to an intermediate warehouse first for labeling, palletizing, and inspection?
Yes, you should do that first, and that's something our warehouse can assist you with.
Or you can do the prep in the United States, right? Like in your own warehouse.
Sure, but if he's bringing it from China, he doesn't trust his supplier to label it properly. He could definitely ship it first to a warehouse like ours, and we could label it.
And is that labeling cost going to be in pounds or euros?
It's going to be in pounds.
Pounds.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. What else here? Any other questions? Please throw them in.
I'm sorry. Pounds, it's actually maybe US dollars.
US dollars?
Yeah, we only bill in US dollars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my bad.
Good. That's a good thing to know. Good correction. Good save there. All right, what else here?
Alexander's asking, will there be a guide for Canada? Canada, yes, we could do another webinar, but exactly what I told you right now, you could apply it to Canada. The difference is that in Canada, it's called a Canadian business number versus a VAT number. We do that all in-house. We could get you the Canadian business number in a couple days, and the same process. Literally, you could be set up in no time.
And can you use your portal for Canada as well? Does it do the rate shopping? I don't think we've used it for that.
Yes, we could do Canada as well. Really, really cheap. We do with UPS. Just to give you an example, it's only 99 cents a pound.
Alexander, US to Canada seller fulfilled Prime. Throwing that out there.
Yeah, we do that too. We could offer that. It's just I wouldn't recommend it as much as FBA because you need to be paying the taxes on the customer's behalf. So it could be really costly. Remember, like we spoke about earlier, if you're going to be paying, if you're doing FBA, you're declaring the value off your cost. if you're selling it directly to the customer, you have to put the value of what you sold it for, so the taxes are way higher. So just have that in mind. FBA will always be cheaper than doing seller fulfilled.
All right. Let's give it a few more moments here. Is there anything that I forgot to ask? I know we were talking before we got started on the webinar, Chad. Remember? Remind me this. I think we covered it with Canada, right?
Yeah, I think we covered it. Yeah, exactly. Alexander, thank you. We wanted to speak about Canada.
So somebody wrote, why label for FBA when you can use UPC already on packages? So a few things. I do a ton of kitting and bundling going to Amazon. So I call them like phantom SKUs. Essentially, you buy this case in a 1-pack, right, which costs, say, $6.99 to buy the 1-pack, but I want to increase my average order value. I want to increase and upsell people to buy more at a given time. So we do a lot of kitting and bundling. So we do these pre-assemblies where we take that same SKU and pre-assemble them and create other listings for a 2-pack, a 4-pack, an 8-pack, and a 10-pack.
Cool.
Let's just give you an example. Or you can do kits, right? 2 dissimilar items. I want to essentially bundle this iced cold brew coffee with this phone case. And so we'll do a lot of kitting and bundling and send those to FBA, even though there isn't actually a SKU that exists, at least at the moment, for that's pre-assembled. So we pre-assemble them, we label them, we sticker them, we do all that FBA prep work, because I believe that if you take up more real estate space on Amazon and you explode your SKU count, you actually can make more money.
Cool.
All right. What else here?
Food. Great question. Food is not a problem. You just have to make sure it does not contain any milk derivatives or animal derivatives. If they do, they don't necessarily mean it's going to be a problem. So what I suggest is if you have a product, email me the ASIN and I'll check with my compliance team to make sure it's fine. But as a rule, if it doesn't have milk or animal contained in the product, you should be fine.
Cool. I think that covers. This is your first webinar. I want to give you a high five.
Thank you very
much. High five. You did a great job.
An imaginary high five.
All right, here we go. Blake, we have a few other questions coming in. So maybe this will be the last 2. And of course, you can always feel free to email Pearl, email myself if you have questions. So we have one that says, Scott, can you also ship to Amazon FBA in Australia?
Yes, you can.
All right. And then Blake, this is Blake writing, any nightmare product categories to avoid in Europe or Canada?
Nightmare products, do not ship batteries, do not ship perfumes. Yeah, that's some of the things that you shouldn't be shipping. Hazmat, obviously. Yeah, that's some things off my head. Yeah, that's pretty much, what I can think about right now.
What's the price to ship per pound
per pound to the EU?
Dollar or pound to EU?
It's going to be in USD. It's only $1.99 per pound as long as you ship 100 pounds or more, which is usually 2 or 3 boxes.
What if you have mixed product in the shipment, therefore more than one HTS or HS code? Which code do you use?
Great question.
That's good.
Yeah, so when you're actually filling out a commercial invoice on our site, you could add another item. So you could add up to quite a bit. There's a few lines that you could add on. So you could just add another HS code, and that's it.
But so how do you dedicate, so what percentage are you paying? Like, how do you divvy up that box?
So each line you're going to be putting in, let's say I'm shipping mics, right? So I'm putting in mics, HS code, value. Next, I'm shipping phones.
I see.
Phones.
So you're telling them specifically
value.
What the value is and what HS code to
Exactly.
And do you frown upon people, like, I got to ask these loophole questions, right?
Sure.
Do you frown upon people lowering their costs to pay a lower VAT? I'm just got to put that out there.
So you're silly if you're doing that because you're getting it reimbursed anyway. So why do that? Right?
Well, it's more money you don't have to pay up front at least, right?
You don't have to pay it up front, true. That's a good question. But to be honest, as long as it makes sense, you're going to be fine. But thank God sellers are great.
Right. Keep your nose clean.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. It's just worth it. Be good from the start. You'll be successful that way.
How to ship with Canada with signatures?
So signature by delivery, yeah, we have that option if you'd like that. So you could do that on the site. There is an additional option on the bottom. You could just choose that you want a signature at delivery.
Cool. All right, I'm going to give a shout out to Patrick. I see Patrick on the line. And I want to thank everyone for joining. One last question came in before we end.
Daniel. How about Japan and China? Yeah, we ship there too. China does not have FBA at this time, so you would have to ship it directly to the customer. Japan does have FBA. Just to put it out there, compliance is difficult in Japan, so make sure you run it by us, what you're shipping before you ship it out, but we could handle it from pickup till final delivery. How much is duties and taxes when shipping to FBA with UPS? Duties and taxes is based off the value and description of your product. If you're referring to the clearance fee, maybe, it's only $16 per shipment. So you could have 100 boxes, it's still just going to be 16, that's 1/6.
All right, any parting words?
Parting words. Thanks for all being so cooperative, and these questions have been amazing. So let's just continue the conversation after this, and anybody that wants to reach me, please do so. And yeah, really
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.